Hello everyone, this is Kevin Mange, and this is Kev's TV series. So now I'm going to begin the next topic. On how I understand this next topic, well, I titled it myself Avatar Cycle, but I don't think that would have been the topic. It would just be a what if because of what I do understand about the Avatar cycle being firebending, airbending, waterbending, and earthbending. So this is what I'm thinking about of what if Yue could be the Avatar. This is what I understand about how avatars could be. I'm thinking avatars could be special people. And of how Yue is special is because of why she was born by the moon. First off, she was born by parents, but how would Yue actually be waking up to the world? I would think she would be in a coma as a baby at the start until when the moon hit during the time of when Yue were to have been born. Is when the moon hit on Yue and then she woken up because of the moon. And because of that, I think Yue is special enough to be the next Avatar after Aang. But would I think Aang would have died being in ice? I don't think so. But this is what I think of this what if scenario. While Aang is in this ice and hasn't woken up either because of the ice, the only glimpse of what we were to have of how Aang was the Avatar would then certainly fade after Aang would have been the Avatar when he was, then faded in the process of how the Avatar cycle would have faded. I wouldn't think it's the end of the Avatar for sure, but the link would have been through the ocean because of why the ocean gave Aang its grave. And because of the ocean would make sense for when Yue would have been hit by the moon. That would have been when waterbenders are at its peak, at its powerful. And when the moon hit Yue, and by being touched by the water, I'm thinking what would have happened by when Yue would have been touched by the moon, being touched by the spirit oasis, by the water, and by Aang sinking to his grave, being in ice, would then pass on to Yue and would enter the Avatar state by the power of the moon. And because of that, his mother and father were to have been proud that Yue would have been the Avatar. And in this timeline, I think of the timeline of when Aang would have been out of the ice. Aang would just be in a conscious coma and only in a conscious coma were transferred to the next avatar. So, boom, Yue becomes the avatar. Her mother and father are so proud that Yue has become the avatar thanks to the water. The ocean now has special properties of what were to be the next avatar. And because of that, now Yue has woken up thanks to the avatar state, so that Yue would wake up. And growing up, she were to learn waterbending through his mother and father. And in the process, Paku would see this and would be enraged by seeing Yue learning waterbending through his mother and father. Similar to how Katara taught Korra. Being enraged, Paku were to punish the mother and father of Yue, and Yue we just had to learn waterbending through healing properties, because of why women are known to be healers and not fighters. At least that's one way to understand another process of waterbending anyway. Paku would be definitely impressed about Yue being the avatar, but understanding Paku and why women can't fight. After Yue learned quickly about healing, Paku would then banish Yue from the Northern Water Tribe. So that means she would have to learn firebending and earthbending and airbending from other people. And without Aang, she would have to go to the original source of airbending. So that means she would travel to find if they were to have been other sky bisons. Because Yurei doesn't know if there could have been still sky bisons around. And with Aang gone, the only option is to find the original source to see if she can find sky bisons. But as for earthbending and firebending, at least there were definitely masters around this time. Would she be interested in learning from Toph? Well, I don't think so, because I don't think Yue would have a connection with Toph. But I don't think that would be possible because of her parents. So in this timeline, Toph would just remain with her parents instead. So the other option would have been King Bumi of Umashu, teaching Yue about learning earthbending. And Bumi would just tell Yue of an old friend he knew during the timeline when Aang was still alive. It would tell Yue about Aang. But he does not know about Aang's whereabouts right now, but would definitely be interested in helping Yue learn about earthbending while being banished. And because of her being banished, she would have to resort to other people that would help her with learning bendings in their perspectives. So I'm thinking Boomy would have been one of to be the next Team Avatar. So Boomy were to teach Yue about earthbending. And for her firebending master, it would be another one of Aang's friends as well, because of why the firebenders were to wage war and all. But Kuzan has other ideas. So he would betray the firebenders, tag along with Yue, and learn firebending. So both Boomy and Kuzan, friends of Aang, would teach Yue a thing or two about earthbending and firebending. But Yue would like to learn more about waterbending and needs to find another waterbending teacher. So this will lead her to the young Hama. But being in the Northern Water Tribe, she got a head start before she ever turned to Hama. So she went without other people that would have been with her. But I think there would have been someone that would be with her, but I think would be her fiancé. And then after that, it would have been Boomy after the fiancé were to tag along with Yue, i.e. being friends, just friends and that's it, and then they would have a big relationship together. And then would find Boomy and then Kuzan, and with having friends were to have been her fiancé, that would be the next Team Avatar. And then Hama would tag along as well for a fourth. For more to learn about waterbending, and she would never learn bloodbending at all in this timeline. So Hama wouldn't be a bloodbender at all, but would help Yue more to help her with waterbending in a different perspective without bloodbending. Of how she learned waterbending. So Yue would have traveled to the sister tribe, the Southern Water Tribe, have Hama to join along with her friend slash fiance, Bumi, Kuzan, and Hama, helping her to learn about the three elements. So her fiance would, I think, is just a non-bender. But Bumi, Kuzan, and Hama, the three benders, were to help her expand her water bending, fire bending, and earth bending. But for air bending, to Bumi and Kuzan not knowing where Aang is, they would tell Yue to have a different option to find of how to learn about airbending. So the only way that they would have known of were to been the original source of airbending. So if it were to been the original source, Yue would definitely have to find with her team Avatar. And then would pick up airbending through the sky bisons, as if we would find sky bisons in this era in time. But if she could find a single one, that sky bison would see how familiar she is because of her previous life sinking to its grave. And became her pet. Just like Aang's sky bison was. But because of being in a conscious coma, not waking up at all, and having a link in the water to help Yue become the next Avatar, who's to say he actually died? I'm thinking, because of being in a block of ice, Aang would definitely not age one bit. So I'm thinking more like this. If we were to have Aang yet again, it would have been more than 1,000 years of with the other avatars at the time. So if Yue had been the Avatar, and when Yue would have died, who would you think would have been the next special person to receive the Avatar state? Well, to me, this is just a thought around the Legend of Korra time. What would you think of if Bolin would have been the Avatar after Yue would have died? And if Yue would have died, I know for a fact that it would have been an earthbender after Yue. So around the time of the Legend of Korra, it wouldn't be Korra being the Avatar. It would have been an earthbender to be the Avatar. And people would search high and low in the Earth Kingdom to find what would have been the next Avatar. Yes. That would be what would be an earthbender. But to me, I think it might be Bolin. Or it might be a special earthbender that we've never seen before. The only thing I do understand is what would be after the earthbenders. The cycle will begin again with another third firebender after the earthbender, around in the Legend of Genji's timeline. So there we have it. of how I understand about the Avatar cycle and of how I think Yue were to receive the Avatar state, finding Bumi Kuzan with her fiancé, Anne Hama, and what would have been the next Avatar and the Legend of Korra time, an Earthbender. But to me, this is just what I think of what could be the next Avatar after Yue. I don't think Bolin could be special, but if you think Bolin could be special, let me know in the comment section down below and what you think if Bolin could have been the next Avatar, and who would help Bolin learn the elements. I'm thinking definitely it were to be Mako helping Bolin learn firebending. And if after Bolin's time, if he would have died, we would get another firebender, and what I would be thinking is what would have been one of what would have been Genji's team Avatar of that firebender in the Legend of Genji, with Genji to form the next team Avatar. That firebender I'm talking about. So that's how I'm breaking this down of what would have been, I think, were to be the other two avatars after Yue, Bolin, and that other firebender that was part of the team Avatar with Genji. But let me know, what do you think? What Earthbender would you think of what of Yue could have been the Avatar around Avatar the Last Airbender timeline? To the Legend of Korra in that timeline of what would be the next Earthbender. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of what would have been the Earthbender? I just think it's Bolin. I don't know, but let me know. Later. Hello everyone, this is Kevin Mange, and this is Kev's TV series. And in today's topic, I'm going to discuss if it like it, then you should put a ring on it. If it like it, then you should put a ring on it. If it like it, then you should put a ring on it. If it like it, then you should put a ring on it. There's someone to say that he wanted. If it like it, then you should put a ring on it. And I believe you're wondering why I sung that. It's not because of why I sung it. It's because of the point of my topic. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Well, first off, would any lanterns would like it to have a ring on their fingers? Well, first off, the ring helps the lanterns to create superpowers within that person, but also energies that provide the color of that color defining your strongest emotions. For the Green Lanterns, it's all about will, all about willpower. And would that strong emotion happen in me? Well, I don't think so. Green may be my favorite color, but is my strong emotions about will? I don't think so. You see, when I mention about emotions, is what triggers the rings by default. Because once you have the most strongest emotions that you deeply feel, then a power ring would come to you because that you feel that strong emotion. And for me, it would be defined by 3 rings. And those 3 rings is about rage, avarice, and compassion. You see, for me, apparently I have rage in myself that, well, I'm not proud of, but I believe that, to me, this is how I think of how things go down because of what I've gone through in my life. And because of having anger, hate, being mean, and being mad, the Red Lantern Corps would consider me for that Lantern Corps. Because of all of my anger, hate, being mean, and being mad, that's what the red ring would go to me for, because of my anger, because of my hate, because of being mean, and because of being mad. But here's where this defines me a little bit more than just rage, hate, anger, being mean, and being mad. That's just different from the other emotions I still have that define me by default than just the Rage Lantern Corps by default. Because when you think about it, my main emotions are mainly just for avarice and compassion. I carry these 2 emotions by default because of how I perceive myself, mainly than just the Red Lantern Corps. Aside from. So this is how I think of how the Rage Lantern Corps would get me by default because of what I made myself feel. And because of making myself feel that way, the Red Lantern Corps would want me for that. So the Red Lantern Corps would just want me to always feel that. And that kind of scares me a little bit. Because even if I had the red ring by default, I will always feel that way, and I would just be, well, what the Hulk goes through a rage fit because of what the Hulk always goes through. And with the transformation of Bruce Banner finally fixing his problem with his rage, that's one thing to take care of that. But to me, by default, by hear about the Hulk, and what I think about the Hulk just in general, the Hulk just is green than you think, but I wouldn't think that the Green Hulk wouldn't really care about willpower by default. Because there's a slight difference between the Red Hulk and the Green Hulk That's just its own parallels because of how rage builds between the Hulk anyway. And that's just what I think of what the Hulk goes through because of that. But Bruce Banner is a different story than just the Hulk, just in general. I'm glad that Bruce Banner finally came to terms in his rage. And that's what Bruce Banner has to go through to finally get over his anger and how he's defied by that because of what he felt from before. Now he has combined by two different worlds, by just Bruce Banner himself and being the Hulk. As for me, when the red ring would take me over and consumes me by default, when it does consume me, the only thing left I would have left of my sanity left within the red ring is because of my tear, and that won't make me part of the Red Lantern Corps because of how I do care deeply. Despite my rage, despite my anger, despite my hate, being mean and being mad, that's just because of what I made myself feel. But despite all of that, I can't be a Red Lantern because of why I would shed a tear should the whole red ring consumes me full. Because if it consumes me full, I may go ballistic and end up just being just the Hulk. And would anyone wants me to go through that by default? No. Everyone would see a side of me that they would be scared from because of what I'm scared for, and I don't blame them. I would understand why people would fear me because of that. And my Hulk would lend me into the Fear Lantern Corps because of that, instead of feeling the rage than you think. But my rage would stem into the Fear Lantern Corps, so that would be more like I'll be the Yellow Hulk because of that. Through my own rage, a lot of people would just fear me, and the Red Lantern Corps would transfer me to being a Yellow Lantern than just being the Red Lantern, where I could just strike fear into everyone, and my rage was because of it. My rage would lead me into the emotion of fear to everyone. But aside from the rage going into yellow, that's just a side of things of me because of the red ring. So aside from it, the only known best Lantern Corps for me is mainly about avarice and compassion, because I definitely know compassion by default, and I know avarice by default. So rage is out the window for good, because of my two main emotions. I mainly make what I mainly feel just in general. I mainly feel avarice because of, why I just wanted things to go my way, and I want everything to be me. Because of why I'm egotistical, and my ego will define my avarice self, and if I continue to have this emotion, then I would be deemed worthy of the orange ring by default. And everything goes by me all the time. Like, everything is mine, 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 mine. Okay, I'm a bird. Mine, 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 mine. Like from Finding Nemo. But I don't think those birds would be under the orange ring. Like, what the heck? I get that those birds are going to be like, mine, 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 mine. But I don't think they're orange lanterns by default. It's like, what the heck? Are those birds wanting to be just like the orange lanterns or something? Like, they just want those birds and they will fight each other over that? Those birds would just kill themselves because of why they just want that fish. That'll just be a funny moment in Finding Nemo should those birds take the orange ring by default. But for me, under the orange ring's power for me, which will exemplify of what I bring to the table for the orange ring. And what I bring to the table is, well, what I think things should go my way. And if things should go my way, everything would bring me happiness to my avarice. That I would finally get the things I deserve and things that do going my way. And should the orange ring sense that within me, I would finally go off and get sneaky and take things that they deserved for me because of why I want it. Because I want it that way. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it that way. So, because of what I go through with avarice, it's kind of like how I feel about my guitar and why I think my mom should leave my guitar alone. I can see through mom because of that. I can see through anyone about what they feel. If people go through a phase of feeling down and out, I lower my avarice a whole lot. And there goes my compassion story. My compassion is seeing people feeling down, and I kind of feel bad about it. Despite my avarice, I lower my guard and see what other people feel like because of what I see about it. I can see through anyone by default and what they go through. And that's why I see if there's someone that also gone through misunderstandings, and I feel for that person. But if that person just technically feels just upset, and because of that, oh man, I feel bad just in general because of why that person feels that way, and oh man, that's horrible. If that person isn't misunderstood and just feels just upset and sad, I would just want to help. I would do nothing but help. And that's it. And then people just think that I'm just too soft because of that, and why they just don't understand because of that. It's only because I care. Not because of why you think differently because of that. It's because of why I feel for that person, because of why they're upset, and they have a reason why they were upset, because of the reason why they were upset, because of other people going down on that person, and that person shouldn't feel that way because of my heart. So I may have avarice of what I want, minus that, with my compassion, despite how things should go my way. I lower my guard so that I could see the truth behind someone else and what their real intentions really are. And that's good, because a whole lot of people just feels that they should not feel upset all the time. Everyone has a right to feel happy in their own right. And, well, I just don't like it when people are sad. I know I've gone through sadness myself, but at least to know that that person does have feelings too, and I must learn to understand that other people has feelings, and I wouldn't want to look down on those because of those people having feelings. So, this could go either way between avarice and compassion because of me, and why the compassion ring is simply for me, or the avarice ring because of me. If I had the avarice ring, then everything would just be, well, yes, what I want, but would I want to continue feeling avarice over what other people's feelings are going through? No. I would just want people to feel that they deserve happiness because of what they feel than what I feel. But if the avarice consumes me, then I would want to protect my guitar, I would want to protect my windows, I would want to protect my defenses, and everything that surrounds just me. I know I care about myself, but I don't think that defines me by default. So if the avarice ring just understands what I feel and what I want the orange ring for, it's just for my gain, for why I want it. That's my Slytherin side of me, and that would be like orange. But another thought is on the compassion ring, and that's indigo. Indigo is another shade of purple, apparently. And once this ring understands about how I lower my guard by avarice, well then, I think the world will see how much I care deeply about others. And I think there's something I can learn from that. If I can learn to understand other people more, then I think I can get through in the world with compassion by default, by the emotion of compassion. And that's why I just wanted to talk about the power rings, because of, well, what would be the most strongest ring, most of all because of me, either between avarice or compassion. But if anyone could see through the whole of me, of the emotions I go through, the fear and rage lantern cores isn't me, but the avarice and compassion cores is definitely me, because of why I have a heart and of why I just have avarice by default. I'm an avarice person who has a heart for many people that deserve care and respect. But I guess that's why I'm just misunderstood, maybe. But I'm just here for all those who are misunderstood in life. Come to me and I'll help you with your problems because of what you're going through and this has happened to you. I'll understand and I'll help you by understanding you. I'm no psychiatrist, but I'll just understand what you go through because of how I see behind that part of you. I may feel that way, and that's just me in general. An average person with a good self-care for others. And if I could feel that way, well then, you came to the right person to help you with your problems. But like I said, I'm no psychiatrist, but at least I am telling you because of the main emotion I would feel that would earn a power ring by default, and that ring would have been compassion by lowering my guard for my avarice part of me. But I would enjoy having an orange ring because of, well, what I would gain from it. But what I would gain from the purple ring would shatter everything that things may be about me going on to others by what the ring would want from me because of how I feel about others. So there you have it. That's a ring by default that definitely deserves my needs and wants by avarice and compassion. So if the comment section is open, make sure to leave a comment on what ring you think definitely deserves me by default. If it's by avarice, vote avarice for me because, well, bring it on. Because if I had that orange ring, I would want to take down Lord Fleas for good, and once he dies, he would be an orange ring spirit in my ring for the Orange Lantern Corps, and he deserves that fate. But with all the Orange Lanterns out there, you will help me for good in what I want. But As much as that would be so much fun to have, the Orange Lantern ring, nothing beats the power of compassion because of others people's wants and needs than just my needs. Instead of my needs, I'm looking towards the other people because of what I feel about other people, whether they're misunderstood or not. They deserve some love because of how I feel deeply because of why they're sad and why they're upset. No one else should feel that way because of, I know I've gone through that myself, and no one else deserves to feel the way that, whether you should just feel sad and upset just in general, and I'll just help because of why I feel for that. And know that I'm on your side because of my indigo ring by default. So if you vote for me under the orange ring, let's see how many votes I got and how many people would like me being what I would be under the orange ring's power, and I would just accept it, or vote for the indigo ring because of my compassions for others. Even though I lower my guard for avarice, compassion is a long way to go by understanding and how I can be more mature than ever. If I can learn to mature, then that's my real goal in life. My real goal in life is to learn how to mature for myself, and then I can learn to finally understand the responsibilities to handle myself and a house. But my first goal is to learn to mature. My second goal is to finally understand the responsibilities about how to handle myself in a house. And once I handle that through that, then I think I'm ready to take on the world by myself without my parents. And I deserve that world. Finally, I would live in a world away from my parents. That might sound rude, mean, and mad, but that's not because of anger. I'm just saying that because of why I have my rights of what my rights are. And what I'm saying for my rights is like I'm thinking I can be ready, but only if I mature first. If I mature first, then I'm ready to take on the mantle of responsibilities. The first thing is to mature, and then after maturity, then I'm ready for responsibilities. And when I'm ready for responsibilities, hopefully in my 40s, I can be ready. And when I am ready, hopefully I won't have to go through struggles because of my parents anymore. I can finally come out of my shadow, let myself out of my shell, and be the person that I was meant to be. The person that I know that can handle himself. But I'm not ready to take that step yet. Until I'm ready for that step, then I'm ready to take on of where I want to live in. And this is what I was thinking by default and by taking on responsibilities. Once I take on my full responsibilities in handling the house on my own, I would like to live here downtown close to North End of Cam, and I won't have to walk so much just to get to North End of Cam, just to get here as early as I can, ready for 11 o'clock, and start my other videos, all I want. To my heart's content. I know I would enjoy that, but I have a long way to go before I get there. Maturity first, then responsibilities. I must take maturity from my early, first, easy steps for understanding what the world has to offer for me. Once I do that, then hopefully I can get myself a motorcycle. But I have to take motorcycle lessons first in order to take on a motorcycle. So, there you have it. This is just mainly about Power Wings and how that could benefit for me and my future. And my future is what you just heard. Until when I'm ready. So there you have it. Me talking about my power wings and what ring I generally deserve, either between avarice and compassion, and what will my future be, or what my future, what I will make to be in my future, for that future, away from my parents, and finally getting what I want. That may be about my avarice side, but like I said, maturity. So, there. Sorry, Mom and Dad, about my avarice side. But despite that, I still have compassion for both of you, and that'll never change. Just understand what I want. Not in a rude way, but in a way throughout compassion. Because of why I do have feelings for both of you, but I just want you to just understand what I'm saying. If you could just hear me for once. Then I am ready. Then I will be ready to take on the responsibilities necessary to handle myself in the house. But I know not yet, so let's see how far I'll go for finally handling myself in the world when I'm taking care of myself for what the world has to offer for me. But I'm just a rookie by avarice and compassion. So there you go, there you have it. Comment and vote of which ring defines me more, and that'll help me with my future of how to learn from my mistakes. Between avarice and compassion, comment and vote which one wins. Either compassion or avarice. And I think I can go forward in life with my future because of that. Besides, I'm pretty sure North End of Cam would be glad for me to have me close to North End of Cam so I can get here as early as I can be and make more videos for everyone. And let's see what my future holds for North End of Cam being in downtown. So later, because this is the end of this video,